and
Here
it's
we go.
shining on you. You look good.
Hey everyone, we are live. Bryce in the background is doing his happy dance because he had some of Grandma's bisque. Anyway, here we go. Welcome to the show. You're live on the Overland Podcast. Thank you for joining us on the Overland Podcast, brought to you by Professor Bats and Friends. We love to talk about it all. The gear we like to use, the places we like to go, and the things we like to do. Sometimes we'll have guests. Sometimes it'll be just us. You never know what you might get. But you always have Bats Off-Road and the Professor. Thank you for joining us. No pros, just bros on this show. Here we go. And here we are on this wonderful Taco Tuesday. How are you ladies this evening?
Doing great.
Good.
Happy
excited to be here.
Halloween.
Good. Happy
Hey,
Halloween to everybody, especially those who have grown children and don't give two craps about Halloween.
That's me.
That's me. That's us. The light is off. Please stay away from this house.
We're the Halloween Grinches, I guess.
bell will probably ring anyway, even though it's completely dark outside, dark on our porch, and they're still wanting their grubby hands to get in some Reese's Pieces.
But it's okay. I have raisins, and so they will run. They will.
Mm.
Nobody wants to be the house that passes out raisins, right?
We got black licorice for everybody who shows up. That's what we're getting.
And old
Well-
jelly.
Your bunny rabbit.
Yeah. Well, just so y'all know, I have downloaded you can't see it very well, but I have a new background for the Overland Podcast here. It is rain.
Oh, it looks
It's
like
raining
rain.
in the background because I know y'all love that so much. I spent all afternoon after work, between after work and now, taking stuff off the trailer and setting it up in the backyard to dry out. Mostly because of the torrential downpours that we had this past weekend in the Ozarks. It was amazing. But I was just thinking this morning or yesterday. Was it yesterday? Did I talk to you, Cara, or was that today? It was yesterday.
Yes, to
And
both.
I said it was a pretty amazing weekend. I was impressed with the ladies, all the things that they went through and did this weekend. We should talk about that. I think that would be pretty cool to talk about, especially since y'all were there and y'all were leaders. And we have a new co-host tonight. My lovely bride is here with us. Thank you, Gia, for being here
She's the
and
better half.
joining us.
She is.
She's a trooper. She went. She helped me out a little bit. She also got to go.
I did.
On the
I got to ride
trails,
along a bit
she
with
had to
Danielle and
drive.
Kara.
She got to ride like a real vehicle.
I
Yeah,
did.
like a
Not one of those fake FJs. One of those
yeah,
real
fake Jeeps. Well,
poser
I'm-
Jeeps.
everything turned out okay. It went well. She came back with a smile. She said she had the greatest time, and it was fun for everybody. So I just wanted to have you on here and talk about Lady Overlanders because that is becoming a thing. It is becoming a thing where we see more and more events and places that are offering ladies only trips or women get-togethers or things like this. So since y'all are hosting quite a few of these, I wanted to have my beautiful wife on here so she could ask y'all women questions that I can't possibly think of. And
Yes,
and
all
also,
those women questions.
we talked about that before the show. She sat in my lap and asked me women questions, and I was like, I don't have no idea. I got nothing. Got nothing to offer.
Oh,
Yeah. But anyway, if you're on here, join us please with your comments and questions. We
Oh,
will
no,
love
I
to
like
hear
that.
from you. Yeah.
I liked it a
It
little.
either behind Kira, and Kira used to have her own podcast. She would go live, and it would either say hell or it would say hey oh. So you just don't know what it is with the two bunny ears behind you. It's always fun. Thank y'all, whoever's in here. We got several people that have been joining us. Yeah. So
Tony?
that's our road is on here. Tony is taking the night off to scare the children that come knocking on his door, since he still has little kids and they still have Halloween stuff. So Gia's stepping in. Thank you for doing that, and I really appreciate that.
Thanks for asking.
You're welcome. So with us tonight, in case you don't know who these lovely ladies are, we're going to have them introduce themselves. We have, first of all, Cara with Ozark Overland Adventures. A resident of Central Arkansas, lives right down the road from me. We're almost neighbors. I can almost throw a rock to your house. But anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you drive, and show us your amazing dog. Oh.
So I am Cara with Ozark Overland Adventures, and that was Goose. He's my wingman. I drive a Jeep Wrangler, a pink Jeep Wrangler, not just any Jeep Wrangler. It's pink, and it's Tuscadero, and I freaking love it.
Letters?
What?
All Jeeps have letters. What
Yeah,
letters?
it's a JL. Well, it's just because
JL. Okay.
the year it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a JL, and I've driven Jeeps for a long time. I've had a Sport, I've had a Grand Cherokee, I've had a Renegade, I've had Sahara, I've had all the things. I changed vehicles frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost had a Bronco in there.
Yeah, I actually had one on order, but they delayed it, and I couldn't wait for anything. So I drove to Mobile, Alabama in the middle of the night. I literally left here at 9 p.m. to get my Jeep, stayed at a friend's house, and I got there about midnight, and then I woke up the next morning and went and got my Jeep.
Cool. That's awesome. So you currently have a JL, pink JL.
Yep, right? I have a pink JL, and then also my husband has a Gladiator, and it's a blue Gladiator, and we also have adventure bikes.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, getting into that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We also have with us Danielle, who's also known as Second Overland, resident of Mississippi.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where you live in Mississippi, but it's close to
Neither do I.
University of Ole Miss, Mississippi, somewhere down in there. But tell us a little bit about yourself and about your rig, or whichever rig you decide to drive down.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I drive Land Rovers. Yeah. After this weekend, I haven't decided what I'm going to drive anymore. I have an older Land Rover Discovery 2. It's a 2003. And I love wheeling that one because I don't care about anything that happens to it. And I have a newer Land Rover Defender 110. That's the one that I'm usually overlanding with, which I also, right there, looks just like that. My husband has a Land Rover Defender 90. What Cara just held up was a Land Rover Defender 90. There's my 110, my current overlanding rig that I'm using. And I absolutely love it. So yeah, I also have I have an FJ. You know?
I do know how you have an FJ.
It's a 1972 FJ40.
Yeah.
One day, it's gonna come out there with me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And she also does adventure motorcycles.
Yeah.
I also have adventure motorcycles.
Yeah.
We have matching.
Two currently. I need to get rid of one.
That's precious.
Gia needs one.
Gia definitely needs one.
I'm selling one.
So am I. Hold up.
Oh my gosh, babe, we can have matching motorcycles.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
It's so cute.
I know, all of us together.
Gia has a great story about the last time that she rode a two-wheeled item in another country, came back with a different looking face.
Oh yeah, a black eye, a nice black eye. I got in a motorcycle accident in Greece.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard this story.
Yeah.
Trying to do that again. But anyway, we just got back from the Go Explore Ladies Only Ozarks run. But before we get into that, this past summer, the two of you went on a pretty amazing trip to the Pacific Northwest. So tell us a little bit about that, where you went and your experiences there.
Go ahead, Danielle. I'll let you start.
Let me start.
You're
well,
the navigator.
Tell
Tell 'em where we went.
Yeah, but I was navigating from the rear. You were leading up that whole trip, and I turn here. No. It was a 6-week overlanding trip out to the Pacific Northwest. We met up in Colorado because I had to stay back in Arkansas for somebody's wedding.
Thank
I
you.
don't know, maybe their names are Joey and Gia.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
stayed back in Arkansas, met up with Cara and Matt in Colorado.
In Utah.
Did we meet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We
yeah,
met
it
at
was in
Utah.
Utah. That's right. We did meet in Utah. Sorry. I did stay my first night in Colorado, though.
Mhm.
And then met up in Utah and went to the Oahe Canyon lands. That, in the U.S., that is one of my top places, top favorite places to go overlanding, is the Oahe Canyon lands, which is in far eastern Oregon and borders on Idaho as well.
So
I
is
love
that high desert over there?
It is.
Okay.
It's spectacular. If you've never seen pictures of the Canyonlands, you should just Google some pictures. It's incredible.
How do you spell that? Oahe.
OWY OWY
HEE.
Yeah, Oahe. So Google that.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely love it there. One of my very favorite places to go in the U.S. And then we zipped out to the coast because Matt had never seen the Pacific Coast. Hit up Pacific Northwest Expo, and from there, Matt went home, and Cara and I went off on our adventure together. So, Cara, you can explain our next adventures.
Yeah, so we traveled the coast. We actually met up also with Katie Abraham. She joined us while we were out, and she traveled some as well with us. And we went down the coastline. We kind of wanted to make our way to the redwoods because I have never been that way. I've never seen the redwoods, and there were so many times in our points of our trips where we were like, let's go to the redwoods. And then one morning I literally woke up and I was like, do you have your passport? We could go to Canada. Like, I was like, the world is our oyster.
This is such a Cara thing. Our husband's gonna test.
I'm super spontaneous, and I was just like, we can go anywhere. We're on our own. Let's do it.
Did you guys go to Canada?
No.
It only went the other way.
Like, we had this whole plan
for months.
This whole plan, and then we had cell signal, so she had to go look at Glacier National Park, and she's like, "Hey, you want to go to Canada?" No.
It is like, you're like, wait, I kind of fallen in love a little bit with our possible itinerary.
We were messaging the guys back home, and Bryce was like, wasn't expecting that one this morning. But yeah, so we made it to the redwoods. We got to do some amazing trails, some that weren't so expected. And there were some that were she made the route for us because, like I said, she's my navigator. I'm one of those. I'm getting better with Gaia. Like, I listen to so much of Matt's Gaia classes, but I'm just now started really pay attention on far as mapping things. But I still don't like it. I'd much rather follow like a route. If someone gives me that, I'm golden. But yeah, so we made it down to the redwoods, follow the coast, which is really, really hard to find camping. So we kind of did in and out. We went skydiving, which is Danielle's favorite thing. She can't wait to go again. It was the greatest trip. We drank a lot of wine, and we sat out on the paddle boards and just fell in love with nature and got to know my best friend. And I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else.
Yeah.
Now there was a time that y'all got separated, wasn't there?
Oh yeah. So that was actually I think that was in the Oahes, wasn't it, Danielle?
It was. Yep.
Yeah. We were near, there was actually like a migration of Mormon crickets, and we got to a place and there was a huge roaring river, and I can't remember the name of it, but anyways, there was like crickets floating. It was so bad, you guys. Like people will actually have wrecks out there because the cricket guts on the roads make it that slick, because there's like, it's like plagues of crickets. It's
Did you say Mormon crickets?
Mormon crickets.
Yes.
Horrible.
Mormon
Look it
crickets.
up. You can look it up and you can find out. It's disgusting.
Like Mormon, like Latter-day Saints? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
It was the Oahe River, Matt just said.
When they sing it as a choir?
I don't
Is
know.
it a choir?
I don't know.
There's nothing magical and musical about them.
At one point they were coming at us, like, and like it covers the ground so much that it's like dark. Like it's crazy. Like I cannot explain to you how, like, they must have pissed God off. I don't know what happened out there.
Yeah,
But
I've
like
never done that.
it was like they were in a trance coming at us. Like I had a nightmare that night that there was a person talking to me with a cricket head. It was so bad. Anyways, back to the story. There was this Oahe River, and we were supposed to cross it. Danielle crossed it first because there was people on a bank. Yeah, there was people on a bank, and they were like, "Yeah, you can do it." I don't know how many beers they'd had, but she attempted it.
So,
Huh?
they were super nice folks.
Oh, they were.
They really were. I just trusted them. Okay. Rule number 1. When you're overlanding, wheeling,
Let the big rig go first.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do your own research. Walk out there, walk in that river.
I would never in the
Know how
life
fast it's
ever.
going, know how soft the bottom is.
I'm never going on that river that has crickets float. That
I wouldn't have walked it either. Actually, it was
Do
No
as I
way.
say, not as I do.
but we really, really wanted to get across that river. So
she did.
So yeah, I drove out there to cross the river. Like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna attempt this, and I started wheel spinning. It was soft bottom. I started floating. It was very nerving. I was, moving my wheels back and forth. I stayed calm the whole time. I was really worried about my rig. It was far too deep for the 110.
You had a water depth level gauge like alert you on your screen because it'll tell you.
Bright red, everything. There were so many alarms going off, and anyhow, I made it across. And once I made it across, Cara was pulling the trailer and realized she can't come across because it's just going to be an anchor. It's just going to pull her downstream. And so yeah, we basically got separated.
And cried.
And so, yeah, I might have cried a little bit. Yeah, I was just really frustrated that I had to cross the river. Could I have crossed back, like strapped up with someone and crossed back? Yeah, I probably could have. My issue was, damage to the vehicle with the water. It was far too high.
Yeah.
So then I had to climb a pretty technical steep hill by myself, stacking rocks. They were able to launch the drone and watch me do it. So there's a video of me doing it pretty quick. It was great. But yeah, we were separated for the next 2.5 hours. I'm going to give you another tip. Make sure that your maps are always downloaded to 100% before you go to an area. My maps were not 100% downloaded, and for 2.5 hours, I was just trying to follow trails that were along the Oahe River. I could kind of see where the river was, and I was just trying to follow trails because I knew eventually the highway crossed over the Oahe River. So yeah, lesson learned. Make sure your apps are 100% downloaded.
That's such a great story, and you can go on, I believe, Ozark Overland Adventures YouTube channel and see a video of that where they flew the drone over and watched you do all your show out on your technical driving skills.
You're
It sounds like Oregon Trail, like when you
Yeah.
get to like Border River and you're like,
Yeah.
here we go.
I'm
Basically
pretty
what
sure
it is.
you would
And
have
you're
got
like, uh-oh, Ma died. There we go.
Yeah.
It sounds like 4-wheel drive 247 to me when it's like that's a river, that's a deep river, and it's got crickets in it. I'm going. Let's go. Here we go. Send it.
how big a boy was she?
It was the
Yeah.
worst.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. Lori's asking what page are you live on YouTube? It's on Professor Adventures page on YouTube. So how did the two of you meet, become good friends, and decide to start traveling together?
Well, actually, Danielle and her husband, they actually went camping with Matt. I believe it may not have been was it a Go Explorer kind of recon?
Sort of. It was Brad knew you guys.
Mhm.
Brad would go explore USA. Knew you guys. Brad knew us. Invited everybody, and we went to Land Between the Lakes. That's
Oh,
how
so it
we
was like Brad was y'all's matchmaker.
He was.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
he was
wasn't
a
there.
matchmaker.
I wasn't there at Land Between the Lakes, but I actually met Danielle for the first time at Hot Springs Off-Road Park. They were there just by chance wheeling, and we were there wheeling, and we invited them to dinner, and she was just casually like, we should just wheel together. And I was like, okay. Then like we stopped talking for a little while. And then like I was like, okay. And then I don't even know how we we added each other on Facebook, and then we kind of just started talking.
Yeah. I don't even really know beyond that, but yes,
Yeah.
that's
Been
basically how
history ever
it
since.
Yeah.
all started.
Well, oh,
Here's the thing, we started.
I'm all warm and fuzzy inside now.
Yeah,
knowing that.
it's. I mean, now that I'm way more involved in the overlanding community, I know so many more women in the overlanding community now, and most of the women that I know, yes, I have met through Cara, and I'm so thankful for that because we need more women in the overlanding community. But I was typically the lone woman wheeling with the guys, like with my husband and all these guys that we know they're really great and fun to hang out with, but there were just no women. I was it.
Yeah.
So
Same.
it was fun.
Yeah. Is that how you started out, Kira, too, with going with Matt, and then?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Matt's my best friend other than Danielle. But I would always go with him, and there's very few wives that would come with this. There's a couple guys that would bring their wives, but for the most part, I mean, I would see women at like events and things, but never actually like wheeling. Like it's very limited. I will say that there's a lot more of a presence with women out there wheeling now, and I think it's becoming even stronger in that field because it's very much a male dominated industry. And I'm not a man hater. Like I love my husbands and they support us and they love us and they allow me and Danielle to go out, on our trips. And I wouldn't say allow. Maybe that's
not allow.
You know what I mean.
You asked for you filled out a permission slip.
I was like,
Yeah, fill out this permission form.
Yeah.
And
they encourage us. Like
yeah,
they do encourage us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all about you guys being you.
Exactly. And that's what a partnership, in my opinion, should look like. So it's very great. And so yeah, it's super nice to be able to see other women out there wanting to push themselves, and it's really great.
Well, it's nice to be supported, and I know both of your husbands, and I can only hope to be as cool as they are because.
You're super cool.
Bryce is like the most intelligent, super cool guy I've ever met in my life, and Matt's just off the chart.
Which is really funny. Oh, hold on, my dogs are going crazy.
Goodness, Matt, you're gonna have to get the dogs.
Go get those dogs.
Get the dogs. Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to be supportive. My wife had always slept in a ground tent and carried everything she had on her back, but she had never done the car camping thing until she met me, and she kind of got thrown into the mix. But it's nice that y'all are there, so she doesn't have to be the only female. And so that was really why I was really excited about her going this weekend, experiencing it with other ladies.
Yeah, and there's a lot of women that have been like they'll go with their husbands, and they're very like they like to go and camp and do those things, but they're more a passenger, and I'm all about them sitting in the driver's seat and just to try it out. They may not like it, but just don't discount yourself for just not be
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we, Gia? About the getting the drive and how it gets boring in the passenger seat a little bit sometimes.
Well, if you're if you're only ever in the passenger seat, I mean, it's neat looking at all the scenery, but there are capabilities and competencies that you're not developing that you could, you know?
Yeah, this weekend when we were driving, and I know Cara will really, she loves photography. She's very passionate about photography, and she's very good at it. And she was kind of bummed she didn't get to take any pictures this weekend. And so we were doing I think it was on Saturday. Gia was riding with me. Cara was up front by herself trying to hop out, get pictures, move her truck forward. And I said, Gia, you need to go get in the Jeep and drive it. Or at first I said, Gia, do you like to drive? I think that's how it started.
Yeah, and I was like, I love driving.
She's like, I love driving. And I was like,
the question may should have been, Gia, are you a good driver?
I said, you need to.
I'm a fantastic driver.
I know you are. Extremely competent.
I should have maybe given her a little bit more of a tutorial, though.
Yeah, look at her.
There she is. That is her determined face.
I said, go get in that Jeep. What's nice about the Jeep is you're not going to be crossing over anything that you can't just drive right over top of.
Yeah.
You don't have to,
or through.
You have to think about where you're going.
Yeah, or through. That's her driving through the never-ending mud hole.
It was that was Carrie. Thank you so much. Danielle, thank you for the opportunities to drive your rigs. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really glad you got the opportunity to do that, and we did talk about that on the way home about how she really enjoyed getting to do that part of it, and really was very excited that y'all gave her that opportunity.
A lot of women are very intimidated off road as far as like, you know, you're in the passenger seat and you're seeing these ledges or you're looking at these boulders and, you know, you got to go down. A lot of women will get out and walk it, and that's totally fine. But at the same time, if you get in a driver's seat, you have more control. Like that's what you're guiding your vehicle. And so that gives you so much more empowerment and control in the situation.
Yeah. I mean, I was glad I started out as a passenger though because like with Danielle, there were situations that that she'd be driving and she'd be like, I'm fine. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Like we're sideways. But I love experiencing that because it gives you that, just like, this is fine. You know what I mean? Like when you realize like what it's like and that it's, that's what it is. And there's not anything to be nervous about. Like just keep going.
Well, it's almost like being a passenger on a plane, when you're sitting there and the train starts bouncing up and down and doing all this stuff. If you're the pilot, you're thinking, this ain't no big deal. I've done this 1,000 times. Yeah. But if you're back there, popping Xanax because you're not used to all that, it's a little different.
Yeah, but it was really neat to have that perspective before, driving myself. So anyway.
Diane Thomas says, I was so intimidated before last weekend, I didn't think I could do it. But by the end of the weekend, I'm like, I think I can. So that's what it's all about.
I want to say something about Diane real quick. She was probably in the lowest vehicle as far as the height, the lift and tires.
Yeah.
And there were several times that like we tried to figure out like, okay, bypass. We put her placement behind Danielle because Danielle's a little bit lower too, and they have kind of that same angle. And I think it was when Gio was crossing the water crossing, that, Diane was like, I tell everybody before we do the water crossings, like turn on all your lights because it looks good in the pictures. And so like that's when I was taking pictures of everybody. And Diane came on the radio and she goes, can I turn on my lights even though I'm taking the bypass? And I was like, that just really hit me. I was like, you know what? we're gonna see if we can do this. Because I was like, I'm gonna see and how other people do through the water crossing and just kind of gauge it. And so we went through a little bit of a shallower one, I would say first, and she came through it just fine, and she was so excited. And then the next one we came through, it was a little bit deeper, and I was like, tell me how you felt with that comfort. Tell me if you felt the water underneath your rig, just the depth, and I just didn't want to push her too much. But by the weekend, she was just like, I think I can do this line. She like Danielle was telling her a little bit, like a little bit less crazy line to take, and she's like, well, I think I can try it. And so she just kept trying it, and she's always been a passenger with her husband, who's also super supportive. But I was really, really proud of Diane.
That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
She's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, getting back to the ladies overlanding thing, and women in overlanding, how do you feel that it has progressed over the past year? It seems like in the past year it's really come on really strong, with a lot of ladies events, with a lot of ladies being in charge of events. How does that strike you? And how do you feel about that?
I absolutely love it. I've only been off-roading for probably 4 years now, 4 or 5 years now. And from my perspective, um, I don't know if I just wasn't, I don't think that all the ladies events were actually out there. I think they are becoming more prevalent. And as I, keep seeing more and more and more, I just want to sign up for all the ladies events, all the women's wheeling events, all the overlanding events. And I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't really know why it's progressed so much, or how. Like, Cara, what are your thoughts? Like,
I think it's always
you've been involved in it. You've been more deep in it than I have.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in it probably for double that amount of time. But I think it's always been there, but it's just there's never been a voice to it. I think that the publicity and the aspect of that has always been, again, male dominated industry, just because that's not something that normally, the women had the voice of. But I think that's becoming a lot more prevalent because there's more women that are wanting to get involved and they're wanting to learn about it, more than just posing with gear. Like, I think
Yeah.
a lot of women like,
Or like draped across the hood. Yeah.
Like, I think that is one view of women in the industry, and I think that if that's your thing, that's I'm not going to
not knock it. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, there's a lot of women that do that and they're super competent in their rig, but some people will never get past that image. And so my thing is, I want people to realize it's more than just the image. Like, we are proud of what we do. We want to encourage other women. And just like, I'll shout out like Misty with Lady Overlander Radio, and then Ashley Oldham with Women Willing, Women Wednesdays on that podcast. Like, there's several other voices. I think you just have to listen to those voices and find them, because I think they are out there. They're just not as prevalent.
And it could be social media that has really started to pick up, recently, in the past recent, few years. Maybe the women might have been there all along, maybe not as many, but really getting out there on social media. You don't think so?
Yeah.
No, I'm reading the comment.
Yeah, it was the comment.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the comment. Sorry. Yeah.
Holding
sorry
that
about that.
beautiful Pruitt knife, right? That thing is fire.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with. Yeah.
I love that knife. It's incredible.
I agree with what Denisha says. When there's YouTube channels out there, and you go to an event and you see a female driving her own rig, there's a lot of realization in that, where people are thinking, I don't have to sit in the passenger seat all the time. I can do this.
Exactly.
And you're giving them an example to follow. and you're giving them a realization that, hey, I can do this too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because of that, there has been more of an emphasis throughout the past year and a half, especially where Cara, you did a thing out in Texas at the off road park out there.
Me and Danielle both went.
Both
Mhm.
of y'all were out there, and you're doing another thing at Hot Springs Off Road
In
Park.
2 weeks. Yeah, Carrie's in this group. Carrie Porter, she has competed at the Rebel Rally, which I'm sure we can talk about that here in a minute. She
Hmm.
is one of my super huge inspirations. She does Discover 4x4, and she does like a women's weekend. And they also do like garage weekends for women to, like, if you have something to install, if you want to change your oils, they'll like open that up. They'll get a shop and they'll open it up and they'll have women come in and learn your rig. And that's huge. Like, knowledge is power. And
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
another way of getting that confidence.
yeah. And I believe it was Carrie that had some issues with her Jeep while this past weekend while we were there. And one thing that she said really hit me. She said the exhaust was too hot for me to put my hand up in there and feel what was going on. That wasn't something I'm going to call my husband and have him come out here and figure this out. It was her sticking her hand up in there and figuring out what was going on.
I'm
I
sorry, it
thought,
sounds like a cow check,
oh my god,
easy
yeah,
there.
That happens
sorry,
then too.
but
Which
I just found that so cool that no, I don't need anybody to help me. I can do this myself, and
Yeah.
And I'll throw
that's
out
cool.
there, I work on my own rigs as well. And there are so many resources out there. And just if you want to learn how to work on your rig, go to YouTube.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I have
Yeah,
done pretty much everything I know and do is on YouTube, is from YouTube.
hmm, yeah,
So, yeah.
same here.
Yeah, and if it doesn't teach you well, or if it's not your learnings, like, reach out to like someone, like, just the whole goal with YouTube is like, you can do it yourself. Like, you can follow instructions and you can just like baking a cake, or
Yeah,
making grandma's
yeah.
lobster bisque. You can follow a recipe and then you can do that.
I'm gonna hear about that for a while. Well, along those same lines, as we switch gears, oh my gosh. So the two of you, like we said, have led and hosted several different ladies events around the U.S. Tell us why you feel the need for these types of events to happen.
I feel the need because I think there are women out there, like Kara said, they're sitting in that passenger seat, but they really kind of want to get in the driver's seat, but they're
Mm,
hesitant, and I mean, just the way our society and world is, women can be very intimidated by
Mhm.
men, and
mm,
the things that they can do and they do, and they see other women doing this and signing up to do these events, then maybe they'll be like, hey, I have, my grocery getter Jeep out there. Maybe I can go do it too because I
mm,
want to, but they're nervous. They're afraid to say they want to do it. But seeing these other women, all over the United States, hosting these events, and they just build so much confidence. I mean, we saw so much confidence this weekend with Diane and Paula and our lightly seasoned drivers. We were calling them, your newbies and your lightly seasoned drivers, and then your salty drivers, your well seasoned drivers like Carrie, right?
mhm.
Carrie, you're salty.
Yes.
Inside joke, but yeah, they just the confidence that they gain is incredible when they go to these events and they have women teaching them.
Mhm.
They don't have that intimidated
Mansplaining.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are things like that women I'm not saying that women are not strong. That is not it at all. But their hands can be bigger and things like and seeing somebody else like I remember one time I was trying to put the tent up and I think it was you, Danielle, or you care. One of you was like, "Oh, this is how I do it," because the way that Joey did it wasn't working
Mhm,
for me. I
Yeah.
was like, "I have
mhm.
to try it a different way." And you're like, "I just do it
Yeah,
this way." And then I tried it your and I was like, "Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah.
It works." Just
Well,
having like
you figure out how you can do it.
yeah.
We go together, and I show her how to do things. And I look down there, and she's doing it completely opposite. But that's okay because you figure out how you can do it.
Yep.
and
that's
make it
the
work.
key right there, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Totally
yeah, it's
okay.
okay.
Everybody does it different. And another reason why I think it's a really big important for women to come up in this is that you never know who is watching you. You may have a daughter, you may have a niece. I think that even me, I get inspired by seeing Diane, by seeing other women learning and figuring out this inside themselves. Just because I may be a very good wheeler, I'm very insecure personally. And so seeing, like, I learned from somebody else as far as seeing their confidence grow. Like, I can have confidence grow on me. You know what I mean? Like, you never realize the type of influence that you can have onto someone else. And I think that even though you may not even think that you have that, you provide that to other people. So, like, I've always said, a rising tide raises all boats. Well, if we're all in this together, I think that every woman can bring something to the table differently.
Mhm.
I agree. I agree. As intimidating as Danielle is, I still love cooking with her. And
She's my
she
sandpaper
taught
girl.
me.
But I'm super. Yeah, everybody always says I'm so intimidating. I'm just to the point, but I always try to be incredibly kind and patient. You know, especially in a teaching environment. Sometimes I get real serious and like I'm focused and serious, and Cara thinks I'm angry. But I'm not. It's who I am. It's just who
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love how you say that, Kara, that doing these things has benefited you because leaders are learners, and you go out there and as much teaching and as much information as you're trying to convey to those who are trying to learn, it does do something to you.
Yeah.
When they actually get it,
Yeah.
and when they get it and they accomplish that, that is a feeling like you've never had before. So that's
And I never want
something
to
that
stop
actually keeps you
learning
going.
ever. Like,
Yeah.
you're never too old to learn something new. And I truly believe that, like, there's always something that I can better myself.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah. So true. So true. Well, what would you say to the lady out there who's kind of on the fence about going to one of these events? Now, I really don't think I can do it. I don't think my husband will let me take the car. What would you say to that person who maybe out of fear doesn't want to sign up and go to one of these events, maybe because of potential embarrassment or something? What would you say to that person?
I would want to know probably what's stopping them. Because I would want to get to the root cause, because I feel like, say it's their spouse or something, say they don't know if they have a rig, get a friend, ride passenger if someone else is more comfortable, or if you want to drive and you're just not comfortable solo, get a friend that'll go with you. Because I mean, some people aren't, they don't want to do it solo. Some people don't want to do it because they can't bring makeup, or they want to, they want to have the comforts of that, or they want to have the bathrooms or all of that. I think even this past weekend with the Go Explore USA women's event, it was raining. It was cold. It was pretty much not anything that you would like, ooh, sign me up.
No comfort whatsoever.
Not really.
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah.
you had lobster bisque and steak and everything. Like, that's pretty dang
That
comfortable.
was our comfort at the end of every day.
Yes.
Every night and every morning,
But
we were like, we may not look forward to anything in our lives, but the food's going to be good. But, like, it's so, don't let your fear stop you. I have a sign up here, and it says, I actually just hung it up before this, and this was not planned. And it says, never trust your fears. They don't know your strength.
Mm.
And I think that's so true. Like, don't let anything stop you, because even if you push yourself past that point of feeling like, I can't do this, push yourself a little further and just do it anyways. You will learn on the other side coming out of that you're capable of way more than you thought.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is a lot of women are, when you mentioned they're afraid of being embarrassed because they can't do something. I will tell you, and all the events that I have gone to personally, I have never felt, and nobody has shamed me because I had to pull out my winch. I had to winch this weekend, and I was one of the leaders, and just, not none of these events have I ever felt embarrassed or ashamed that I couldn't do anything. And pretty much every woman that I have come across and that I've become friends with at these events are so encouraging and so eager to help you and help you learn. And if you go to an event where you don't feel that, let me know who it is because I don't want to be there.
I think I feel more intimidated, and I felt all of those feelings more at a co-ed event than I would ever feel surrounded by women.
Yeah, and even there are so many men out there that really are truly great teachers, and they're not going to shame you either. I will tell you that I saw a comment up here earlier that someone said, Cara has done things, driven obstacles or whatever that I would never ever do. They also said like jumping out of an airplane, which she's not right in the head for that. But I have heard men say like you're going over, you don't want to take that trail, like that's really hard, and I wouldn't take my rig on that.
Hold my Stanley Cup.
Heard it this weekend. Some side by side. Some of your brothers, Joey.
That's just mean.
On the trail, and they said I wouldn't take my rig, up that. That's probably just for side by sides. Like you shouldn't take your trucks. And I said, I got 9 ladies back here, and we're about to go hit this trail because we can't keep going. There's a tree down, and basically that's how that conversation went. And they were like, well, we're gonna go before you because you ain't making it through. They did. And I saw them on the trail the next day on Saturday, and they're side by sides. So kind of gave a little wave, and they just looked at me, and I'm like, you know what? Like, we did it.
Yeah, we're not still stuck on that hill.
I'm still stuck on that hill, but most men are very encouraging at a lot of these events too. So
yeah, you're right. I have noticed that just around the fire, standing around eating under the awnings when it's pouring down rain, everybody has a smile on their face and encouraging each other about what they did throughout the day or something that they did, or there's always ribbon, there's always poking, like, yeah, I made it up and you didn't, but that's all in fun. It's all in fun. You do it between the two of you, so it's all in fun. But y'all and the ladies this past weekend, I was so impressed with the amount of encouragement that they were giving each other. You did a great job. You did a great job. You did a great job. It was so cool to see.
Well, when you think about conflict and like, when you think about like conflict in literature, it's usually like man versus man versus nature, man versus himself. And like the overlanding, my experience I've seen is that it's usually not man versus man, it's man versus nature, man versus
Mm-hmm.
himself. That's the
Mm-hmm.
conflict that people are working through as they're in their rigs.
Absolutely.
That's true.
That's 100% true.
Yeah, I truly believe it. Well, we just got back from this ladies' trip to the Ozarks, where you both led several ladies on this trip where you camped, you aired down, you ran trails, you filmed, you photographed, you sat around the fire. You did everything except you didn't have to cook. That was provided for you. But these ladies had to set up camp, take down camp, set up tents. They had to find a place to go to the bathroom.
In the rain.
In the rain. They had to troubleshoot. They had to, figure out what they forgot at home. They had rig issues, tons of rain, air down on the trails. They had tight, very wet trails, winching, more rain, obstacles. They did it all. And me and Brad were back at camp going, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay.
Feeding yourselves as you're walking.
Yeah. Now Brad's a worrywart. Brad's a worrywart. I tried to calm him down a little bit. I said, Brad's going to be okay. But give me the highlights. What were the highlights for both of you and you too, Gia, on this trip this past weekend? Start with you, Danielle.
Oh, highlights. I think it was really like the confidence. Like we took some incredibly technical trails. You can see that the Jeep right next to Cara's. What does she call her? Rowan.
Rowena. Yeah.
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 Rowena.
Yeah,
Rowena.
and then Paula, she was further on down the line there. They're both pretty new. Like they've always sat in the passenger seat, and their husbands are great guys, so supportive. um, but those two in particular, I the highlight for me was seeing the confidence that they built and seeing the other ladies just getting out and helping and encouraging. And I mean, the first day we hit the trails, it was supposed to be like super easy peasy day. And we ended up having to come out on a trail that was just like, I'm thinking these women aren't going to want to wheel tomorrow. They're going to hate this. And by the end of that day, that Paula and Diane were both like, "Ooh, this is cool," and you know, and just to see their confidence build, I think that was the highlight for my weekend. We had some other ladies. There's Shaza. She's new to this as well. She has a larger rig, as you can see there, and seeing her confidence as well. It was just so awesome. I really loved it.
The first night, Shaza, she had a winch and she'd actually never used it and had steel cable on it, so she'd never had to spool it out and do that whole initial break in. And so that first night, she was learning how to take out the winch completely and re-spool it. And so it was great.
She knows how to use her winch now. I mean, she was hands-on doing it with us, and it was excellent. And just, I really love the confidence and some really technical trails this weekend that were very, very wet and muddy and slick.
Yeah, very slick. Cara, what were your highlights?
My highlights were definitely the confidence, but also, like Danielle was saying, Paula, the first night or the first day that we went out, she didn't know how to get her vehicle in 4 low. Come Saturday, she was using lockers and using her winch cables and like all the things. So she was like, and she even said her husband is off. He also does a lot of the Go Explore USA trips. And she said, I think we've done more technical things than they've ever done. And so I really believe, because I've been on a few of those trips that we pushed these ladies. So it was definitely seeing the confidence grow. And every woman, even the seasoned veterans, I feel like they learned something a part of this too. Just being able to see them teach and explain the why, like what exactly do lockers do? Like it's not just a button you push, like what actually engages the tires, like the education behind it. But then Paula's sister at the very end, it really got to me because Paula and her sister came on this trip. Her sister was crying and she was just like, you don't know how much more time you have with your loved ones, and being able to experience what they enjoy. Like that was a huge thing for me. Like you don't have to be in your comfort zone at home. You can go out and camp and do hard things. And she was super encouraged to see her sister do that. So just seeing that relationship building with the friends who have been, and sisters that were on this.
Moms.
Moms. Nikki had her mom with her. And that's just experience, being able to watch your daughter overcome things and do things that they love. That was huge to me.
Gia, what was your highlights?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, definitely driving Cara's rig through the mud. That was a lot of fun. That was so much fun. Riding with Danielle through the mud hole that you've got out of. It was, but I loved, just seeing an expert, like figuring out like what to do and like listening to somebody spot you and being like, okay, that was really, really neat, because I guess it was like, I was like, okay, like she's calm. I'm calm. Like this isn't like, it was really neat to see that, to be on the inside of that and see
I
the
love watching
decisions.
you and Danielle lift that log and then y'all high five each other.
That was a lot of fun. But I loved when it was pouring down rain and I got to watch along like while you guys were spotting the women, I got to watch all the women get over the obstacle and some winched and some just, their tires just ate it up. And I loved seeing that. I love seeing everybody's approach. I love seeing everybody like just what they were able to do. And then I love seeing Danielle and Cara and their expertise, like helping people figure out what to do and like Danielle like throwing rocks down so they could get the right placement of the tires. So it'd be I mean, that was so neat to see people on the hardest part when it's just absolutely pouring and just how everybody was like ready to tackle it and take
It
it
was
on and
I slid. There's no video of it. I was having a hard time. It's where I had to winch up, getting up some rocks, and I literally was trying to get back into my truck because I was scouting it out and knew I was gonna have to stack rocks, and I just literally slid under my truck. And I caught myself like on my rock rails, like the incline. It was so steep and so muddy, and it was like a waterfall going down the middle of the trail. It was awful. I thought, well, if I'm going to cry this weekend, this is when I'm going to cry. But I didn't.
and then I mean, but it was just so excited. Like I felt like I was everybody like seeing and just being so excited. Like everybody's cheerleader coming up. It was like, oh my
It
gosh,
was so cool. It was
I
great.
remember you saying that with me when we went on the boat night ride. That you're like, I never realized how empowering this is.
yeah.
Oh, and I want to throw something else out there. And I told my husband and told Matt this, Brad this. I think I told you this, Joey. But I kept thinking, I feel like I apologized a lot to the women this weekend because I was like, I wasn't supposed to go this way, but it's an authentic adventure, right? That's what
Yeah.
Brad says it is.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, I felt like so many times, like we gave the ladies an option. We can do this or cut it short and go back to camp. And it was constant. All the women, no, I want to take the longer route home. And I'm thinking, I've been on the trail 10 hours, ladies. I'm tired.
Where were you? Weren't you there too?
But no, it was so.
They didn't want to stop.
They didn't want to stop.
No.
They never wanted to stop, which was so amazing. I really loved how these women were just like go, 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 go all weekend. They were hardcore. Like I'm gonna say more hardcore than a lot of men that I know, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible.
Yeah, they never picked the easy, like they never hit the easy button.
No,
they were like,
no, once.
No.
Well, it was definitely a treat for me to see Brad on a different side of it. This is the first time he's ever not been leading the trails and was actually left that into the hands of you two. And to see him not have control over that was gratifying to me. And for him to be in your shoes, Danielle, and to see that's not a cakewalk either. That was pretty fun. This weekend, y'all are going back with Go Explore. You two are going to be on the cooking end of it, and while everybody else goes out on the trail, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
It's gonna be cold.
It's going to be cold, but it's not going to be raining, so that's going to be nice. That's going to be nice. Well, the highlight for me really was, of course, all I got to see until we got the pictures back at the end was how everybody did in camp. And, there was, y'all would roll in, eat or set up camp. Everybody would set their stuff up. Everybody would make sure that everybody had what they needed, that everybody was set up. Everybody would come around the fire. Everybody would eat. And it was just neat to see how everybody shows up on day one and introduces themselves. And then on the last day, it's almost like they've known each other for years. That's what 2 or 3 days on the trails and spending 10 hours on the trails and then sitting around the fire and sitting around dinner and breakfast will do for you.
Yep.
It will create lifelong friends. And that was what was a highlight for me.
Yeah, definitely.
You have everything that you come into this experience with, and just it gets you down to your core. Like that's
true.
It was really special to spend some time with some of our friends that we already have and just bond with them even more. But I feel like the ladies that we didn't know it all, or I didn't know it all, that I feel like they could call us up anytime, or I could call them up anytime, and I feel like there's a special bond. Like we were very fortunate with an amazing group of women, and it almost just felt like a sisterhood. Like at the very end, everybody
Yeah.
was sad to leave.
Yeah, true.
And we
Well,
all
tell
went early.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about ladies events that y'all have coming up, and some you have planned in the future where people might want to put it on their calendars or be on the lookout for it.
Well, Carrie with Carrie Porter. If you're not friends with her, you can friend her on Facebook. Discover 4x4 Adventures. She's having a ladies wheeling weekend in Hot Springs, at the Hot Springs ORV Park. If you know absolutely nothing about off-roading and you want to go to an event where you are going to be taught by some of the kindest, knowledgeable people there are out there in this overlanding community, I strongly encourage you to sign up for this. Pretty sure that there are still spots available. They're from up north. If you can't come down here, they are up north in Michigan, and they host events all the time. You can go to their website. And I'm not like sponsored by them or anything, but Carrie's really, really cool. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Who am I kidding? I only have a YouTube channel. That's it.
She's sponsored.
So yeah, there's that, and then I'll let Cara tell you about our other women's events at Adventure Her. We'll be doing that.
Adventure Her will be in May. I think it's in May. At Ferris Adventure Park in the Paladuro Canyon. Of course, Cindy Pope. She always does the Midwest Women's Only Off-Road Weekend, and she did that in Wisconsin. That'll be coming up this year too.
It'll be after Maris.
Yeah.
After Adventure Her. So yeah, in order.
Yeah, and there's a lot of events that me and Danielle will lead women rides on. Rita Rendezvous in the Ozarks, we just did that. Actually, Danielle did that for me because I was sick with COVID. But then Overland the Red, I led a women's guided run. So there's a lot of co-ed events, I guess I would say, that we also spend time to do women only led trips. And then I know with Go Explore USA, there's going to be more women's trips coming up. Rebel Rally.
Announced that yesterday. Y'all will be entering that. Pretty cool. You've had your down payment.
Yeah, you guys, that's it.
We're in.
You're in.
120.
Number 120. Sweet.
Yeah.
Lucky number 120.
I know it's divisible by 4, and that's all that counts because 4 is my lucky number.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Well, I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. Make sure that you go and follow these amazing ladies' YouTube channels, Instagram accounts, and they will keep you abreast of everything that will be coming up the rest of this year and also in 2024. And I guarantee you're going to see more stuff out there. It's becoming more and more prevalent. You're having more and more opportunities to get out there and learn and spend time with the ladies. So thank you, ladies, for coming on here, taking time out of your day. Really enjoyed it, recapping this past weekend and talking to you and about you. And this is really cool. Once again, I was outnumbered. But once again, it was just fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
You
did.
Thank you, Joey and Gia. Yeah, thank you both so much for everything you did this weekend.
My wife is amazing. She even after a long day on the trail, she helped me cook.
I felt so bad. I even told her.
Oh no, it's fun.
She loves that.
That's for me, just fun and relaxing, and plus then I get to spend time with my husband.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say this. At one point, we were driving along, and I look over, and Gia's like this, just eyes closed, head back, and I was like, Gia, are you okay? Is everything okay? She's like, yeah, I just ate that huge BLT at Ozark Cafe. Do you ever just feel really tired when you're so full? I was like, oh, okay, you're okay. You're okay.
I was just like, I said, don't you get tired in the afternoon? And you're like, I've been tired for like 12 hours.
Next year, though, you need to build a Subaru.
I was
Oh
like, do
my
I need to
goodness.
take you back to camp? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm
Oh
good. I was
goodness.
like, I know how I was like, if something's wrong, I'll go back. But I was like, no, I'm having a blast.
Yeah. I told y'all take her out in the rain and the mud, and she is just having the time of her life.
Your
That's
little
just
pig
where
pen.
my little pig pen. That's exactly right.
No, I
I
don't
love
understand.
it.
It's like magnets, like
Yeah.
dirt and twigs and leaves.
I love it. Well, hey, thank y'all again for joining
Thank
us. We're at
you.
the end of our show. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Take time to live the best life you can while you still have time. Thank you, ladies. You're amazing. We're out.